I contacted Kelly. I was like, this is amazing. We have to do something with you. You know, this is amazing. And then I was like, this is not enough. And I was like, you need to meet my publisher, Eric. And so this is so amazing that this happened. So I'm going to read. It's so great, like, hearing these poems read out loud. They're really beautiful. So this is Augury. The raven Tiresias is telling secrets at the bar, 6 drinks in and 2 snake strikes behind them. They lost their gender in the bathroom, their eyesight in the alleyway. But I am walking creaky leg, trying to get home when they fly up next to me and they lean in, bend in. Can't quite tell if this is a man or bird, but they have this way of opening their mouth so wide, asking me to count the feathers that travel down their open beak to the back where their bra is showing. I have to look in to see for myself, tongue black, wet back of throat black, glassy green eyes made of milk. This bird sees, throws sparrow wings to the sky and cries out, this is truth, this is death, I am blind. I'm just trying to get laid, but you're talking to me like you know me, bird. The raven puts its cigarette out in the entrails of a smashed starling found behind the wheel of a Cadillac. Their eyes roll back into their head and the smell of burned wing makes me lick up hungry. They start to tell me a story that I already know but forgot 10 years back at another bar. I interrupt them, so lush with rice whiskey and steep cherries that golden poppies spill from my lips, so full of blossoms they can smell my unfolding within the containment of a body without wings. I just want you to know, my own pleasure, where did it go? The bird pulls back to look at my face, petals falling from my eyes. Yes, Tiresias, I remember now how we met. You flew into the shutters, almost dead on the floor among the suitcases and cassette tapes. I took your body in my hands, tied my words to your feet, marked your beak with my blood. I released you through the window in hopes you would fly my letters home across oceans and rooftops, scattering blood from my wrist so that no one family would feel the weight of my burden. Now, you've come back to tell me what you know of me, to right my too-wronged way, to call up my skirt and untie from this gold-rotted city where I've been held against the hills, almost dead on the floor. Now it's your turn. Unbind my eyes from the ground, release me from the relentless growl of 1,000 sleeping babies, all their mothers pushing against doors to keep the sound of the sky from descending, lest they begin to wake starved. We can fly these streets together, opening all the doors, rattling bassinets, grabbing pigeon after pigeon to toss their bodies to the street lights like a map of bird light, leading us past slayed snakes in the intersection of Geary and 20th, where I held him when he died. Tempt me out of this body, holy, untold, bound for joy. Promise me it's here in the prophecy. Promise me, Tiresias, you'll take me home tonight to show me what I cannot see. They hop bird-like, human-like, foot to foot, wrapping a black wing around me, nest-bound. Sounds of Hollywoodland, thrills and chills set in ultra-moody hues of 1940s, 50s gangster LA. Brass-knuckle fast talk of hard-boiled thugs and detectives, kiss-me deadly melodies of femme fatales, bar brawls, catcalls. The cold click of stiletto heels, stiletto blades, and more cooler doors closing on. Still another John Doe. Those sounds mixed with present-day sounds, riotous rhythms from hands of Leimert Park djembe demigods, break-beating on wings of rap and revolution, car horns, car radios, car alarms. Freeways clogged with huddled and befuddled masses, inching towards invention, reinvention, prosperity, invisibility. The bark and bite of bulldogs and bulldog revolvers, our past and present city sounds combining and recombining to create the soundtrack to a modern-day LA palm noir, a white heat double indemnity song of live and die set deep in the blood, pulsing through the hearts and minds of one and all. Century city lawyers to San Pedro dock workers, West Side yoga warriors to Skid Row warriors, drug addicts to the clean and sober, clergy members to tattooed rock gods, and those on their deathbeds and those suffering from fever dreams of almighty stardom. Our soundtrack to a modern-day LA palm noir packs the hot and howling will of Santa Ana winds, earworms its way into our soul, jukeboxes with our inner demons, seeks alleyways as if they're confessionals in which to share sins, its mirrors and reflections, rain and complex plot lines. Fingernails dragging across our blackboard jungle brains as that voice in our head proclaims, yeah, I've been beaten up, but I'm not beaten, and I'm not quitting. This soundtrack to a modern-day LA palm noir, stained with its history of notorious crimes and criminals, the Black Dahlia to Sharon Tate, the Hillside Strangler to the Grim Sleeper. It's a hymn filled with hums of late-night neon signs and the short vowel sound of death's last sigh on a victim's lips, ohms and bad omens, sirens and babies crying. Police helicopters circling, buzzing like hornets out for a sudden sting. One must develop an ear for our city song, harmonized, slow and steady at first, then cruise into the fast-lane Dodge multi-car pileups of those who burned out before, burning bright, anxious leaps of faith that only a precious few have survived. Our soundtrack to a modern-day LA palm noir, allured in lethal hunger, fueled by gasoline, sweat, and tears, decked out in false eyelashes and false promises. It's a true love and true crime, booty call wooing with stroked and stoked hallelujahs, purring like sex kittens, knitting kisses out of thin air, moving, grooving, coaxing, cajoling, ready to find us innocent or guilty beneath midnight streetlights. Shining like halos and interrogation lights. This soundtrack to a modern-day LA palm noir. It's a death song in the key of cordite heard by Sam Cooke when taking a bullet at the Hacienda Hotel. It's a non-stop party song wailed by Tom Waits, Iggy Pop, and Janis Joplin at the Tropicana in the low-rent, high-spirited late 60s. Songbirds sit on phone lines mimicking this city's rev and dread soundtrack. Earthquakes only visit us because they want to learn to shake, rattle, and roll like we do. From Olvera Street to Rodeo Drive, Watchtower to the Miracle Mile, generations of races and ethnicities, occupations and preoccupations adding to this city song. From labor movements battling 1920s union busters to 50s and 60s Chavez Ravine families facing down bulldozers and eviction notices. From African Americans chased out of 1930s sundown towns to the later cries of Rodney King when suffering the blows and bruises of racism wielding police. From the technicolor visions of Timothy Leary to the technikiller machinations of Raymond Chandler, this city song can be so serious and surreal. Drum loops of dull footsteps pacing confines of 6x8 cells at Men's Central Jail, mixed with the disembodied voice of Joe Gillis narrating the story of Sunset Boulevard while floating dead in a swimming pool. Other days our city song is a raucous hip-hop crumping and locking down Hollywood Boulevard, a funky freestyle red carpet gala popping with paparazzi and Klieg light bonfires illuminating our highest selves. Let us shine, let us shine, let us shine. Our gangster-fied and glorified city sounds, revving their engines, burning rubber on asphalt, breaking all natural and supernatural speed limits, drag racing down the 10, 5, 405, 101, and 60 to all points north, south, east, west, from Koreatown to Croatian Place, Little Moscow to Little Ethiopia, Lake Balboa to Larchmont, Echo Park to the Palisades, every shade in LA's urban crayon box, creating the mood, mystery, shadows, and light, harboring the living and dead, everything existing between celluloid and the flesh, all the devils and angels that are our dance partners in this manic and mystical, sadistic and symphonic soundtrack to a modern day LA poem noir. Congratulations, Kelly.